Hi, everybody. This is Todd Creager, and today I'm talking to you about beyond the bedroom, cultivating intimacy in everyday moments. Um, Foreplay is just the word foreplay means it's before the real event, but really, foreplay is the event. Foreplay is just the things that we do that might end up leading to what people would think of as the main event, which usually is sexual intercourse. But the truth is that uh, sexual intimacy is really about how you treat each other when you first get up in the morning and have breakfast together, or lunch together if you're doing intermittent fasting, or whatever your first meal of the day is. um, so, what we really have to do is recognize the potential for intimacy in everyday interactions and gestures. Intimacy is about feeling close. Intimacy is about creating some intensity, positive intensity. And it could be just the way you look at each other. It could be consciously opening your heart. Because, we do tend to be somewhat protective of our heart. And people will oftentimes, especially in long-term relationships, when there's been challenges or stress, they end up sort of like tiptoeing around each other, not even oftentimes consciously. So one of the things is that we need to tune into our heart and literally consciously open it because there's a tendency to hide it. And our parents and grandparents didn't consciously open our hearts. We have an amygdala, which is the alarm system of the brain that alerts us for anything that could go wrong. And these days, of course, our anxiety doesn't come from a lion chasing after us. It could come from the potential of you rejecting me or you judging me. Or maybe you judged me yesterday, and so I'm still protecting myself. So if I'm in that, I might be losing out on the opportunity to have an intimate moment with you now. So I'm emphasizing, that part of foreplay is noticing where your heart, how your heart, you can really feel it. Is my heart open? Is my heart closed? And people don't really talk about that. But I think we need to become aware of those parts of us that protect us and to just appreciate them, but ask those parts to back off so you could be open that are you really in danger with your partner. This is very subtle stuff. And we just need to realize how much we hold back oftentimes. And there's oftentimes very subtle ways that we protect ourselves that interfere with intimacy. So that's the first thing I wanted to say. I'll be honest with you, that wasn't a plan of me even talking about, but it came to me as I started to speak to you. And I think that's very important. Now, in terms of the potential for intimacy in everyday interactions, we need to realize, of course, that small acts of kindness, especially coming from the context of I'm doing this because I love you. So, for example, in my own case, I'm sometimes not the neatest person, and I know that that drives my wife a little crazy. So, I could actually think about getting closer to her by cleaning off the kitchen table that I made a mess of. As silly as that might sound, it's not at all. Because I'm not even just doing it to do it. I'm doing it with the sense of I'm doing this because she'll feel good about it. So it's just, again, coming from the mental realm, even before you do the behavioral realm, is thinking of your partner as someone that you can evoke good feelings in them, even by, in my case, how I clean off the kitchen table. So even that small act. Now, of course, other small acts could include appreciating, expressing appreciation for your partner, thinking of compliments. Research shows that that couples that are successful have relatively frequent expressions of fondness and admiration. John and Julie Gottman, they're great marriage researchers, terrific. They did some terrific research, and that's one of the things they come up with they came up with. There's the frequent expressions of fondness and admiration. So think about what you can appreciate about your partner and share that. That that cultivates intimacy. And it's like in everyday things. You could comment about how your partner did a nice job of making you food, or how you notice what a good parent your partner was to your kid or children. Of course, there's many ways to demonstrate love, little things. Of course, Gary Chapman, as many people have heard of his the five love languages, uh, such as gifts, which are physical manifestations of love, quality time, which is there's different kinds of quality time, but definitely slowing down with each other, talking with each other, hiking with each other, dancing with each other, quality time. Touch, for many people, that's a way they feel loved. And if you understand that about your partner, you think about just gentle touch, holding hands, giving a hug, rubbing the head, giving a foot massage. The touch, um, uh, acts of service, like me cleaning off the kitchen table. Those are things when you know your partner's one of their love languages, acts of service. You could do these acts of service not only just to do it mechanically, but with a sense of this is a way I'm showing you love. And what's the one I left out? I did quality time, words of affirmation. Some people appreciate words. So if that's the case, you think about things you could say, how you could compliment, coming back to that again. Words of appreciation, words of encouragement. So these are all important things to do. Now, of course, another aspect of cultivating intimacy in everyday moments is doing adventures together that are not necessarily sexual. Like I said, it's beyond the bedroom. We're cultivating. Like in my last video, I talked about how to set the stage for connection. This is another angle of that. That you're cultivating intimacy in these everyday moments. Take a walk, but go a different route than before. Even something simple like that. Of course, you could do even more new things. Go to new restaurants. Go to a new place for an overnight getaway. Of course, this video wouldn't be complete about also saying that to go beyond the bedroom and how to cultivate intimacy in everyday moments requires communication, deepening communication, which requires something I've talked about a lot, which is setting aside time to slow down and take the time to get in touch with what you're experiencing and sharing it, and being interested in what the other person's sharing as well. So, all this goes to kind of a mindset of celebration. I love the word celebration. I think the opposite of celebration is taking things for granted. And when we celebrate our relationship, we're not taking the relationship for granted. Creating a good relationship requires some attention, some energy, and we want to celebrate it. We want to make a celebration out of our relationship beyond the bedroom, which will feed into the bedroom. So how do we celebrate? We celebrate with a smile, with an embrace, maybe with a special getaway. And it doesn't have to be on your anniversary or Valentine's Day. It could be any day that you decide, let's celebrate just for the sake of it. Let's make this relationship sacred. Let's give it some special meaning. And it's what you create together. And you could do that at any time. And you could do all this celebration within days, hours, minutes, even seconds. I know that's true. I know as a therapist now that works virtually, that sometimes in between clients, I'll run down the stairs, see my wife, give her a smile, give her a hug, come back upstairs. Do you think that doesn't help? Of course it does. Cultivating intimacy. I might only have about 5-10 seconds to do it. So Don't think in terms of just time, even though it's nice to set aside time, but these everyday moments could even be everyday seconds. So know the power that you have to create these moments of intensity that ultimately, like I say, will spill into your sex life. Now that's it. You have the power. Use it. This is Todd Creager, making the world safe for love.